Hey guys, Yanni here. And today we're going to be, first of all, y'all, I got to get up earlier because I'm literally having to curl my hair in here. But this is nonetheless the wake up call that I wanted you guys to have, is that we've been talking about it lately and we found out that stylists, we've been talking about it lately and we found out that something happens when a hairstylist wants to retire, is that usually they don't retire and they wind up going to some other job. Not retired. They retire from the hair business, but they don't actually retire. They just go to another job, right? And imagine standing for, literally, I did it for almost 30 years. And then when it's time for us to retire, we actually can't. And we wind up having to go to get a job somewhere else. This is what is happening in the industry. This is the tragedy that we are bringing awareness to in these talks, in these morning wake-up calls, is that your favorite hairstylist wants to know what to do when it's time to stop, okay? And so if you are that hairstylist who is thinking about what are your next steps, this is for you, okay? This is for you because we see a lot of businesses that tell us, I made $1 million, I did this, I did that, right? But we also find that they're doing a lot of work, right? And even though $1 million sounds good, most people don't think they could get it anyway. And so they're not gonna try for that, usually, right? And if you like me, then you realize that you tired of working all together. I'll do my own hair nowadays, right? You might have realized that you just tired of working all together. So if that is you, then these calls are for you, because what I got is not another job in the industry. It's not another, funnel or that kind of stuff, right? So a lot of us see these things that the hairstylists are doing to make money, to hit $1 million, and it looks like way more work than what we want to do right now because, again, we want to retire, not find something else to do, okay? So if you are that kind of hairstylist, then this is for you, all right? I'm running a little late, so I'm curling my hair. So let's talk about what hairstylists are doing around the time when it's time to leave, okay? Let's talk about it. And we're going to refer right from my Cheer Money Is Not Hair Money book, okay? You see that? That's my ultimate guide that I'm going to be using to help me explain to you guys exactly what is needed, okay? So if you are a hairstylist who, let's talk about the current situation that you might be in if you need this, okay? So let's say that you're a hairstylist who's been doing hair long enough and you ready to retire. Or you may be a hairstylist who wants to do more. Like maybe you want to do more, right? Meaning make more, right? And do less, okay? When I say do more, when we talking about be retired, it literally just means make more money, okay? So we going to talk about it today. I'm going to stop curling my hair because I can't see it good. But we're going to talk about that today. So what happens when a hairstylist wants to retire? The first thing is that we actually start thinking about the fact that if we haven't structured our business properly or done anything to solidify our legacy, right? Let's say this, you do hair, right? So how do you solidify a legacy when you do hair? The first things that we want to do is stop giving away things for free that are valuable. And one of those things is like when you do regimens, right? Like let's say I do somebody's hair and their hair is got seborrheic dermatitis, right? And the first thing I do is I bring them in with my regimen because I do hair care and I fix said seborrheic dermatitis, not treat it. You know, like they be like, oh, send them to a doctor. No, I fixed that because I've been doing hair long enough where I can see exactly what the problem is, and I'm going to just fix it. I'm not going to patch on that. I'm not going to treat it, right? You send them to the, right? They treat stuff. So I'm not in a position to treat with you. I'm not in position for that. Okay? Because when I do hair, my clients have to come back to me. Okay, one of the things that I did find too is that a lot of companies who make hair products, they do not care enough about the actual person. And I don't think it's really their fault. I think it's because they don't see people. They see people as numbers, right? They're going to drop some products off in the beauty supply store. Those products are going to sell. They're never going to see the actual customer's reaction to the products that they bought. And so this disconnect allows companies to just go on selling without being held accountable. And that right there is one of the spots where a seasoned stylist, because understand this is not for every stylist, okay? And one thing I found too, just from talking to my seasoned stylist, is that a lot of us are disconnecting our legacy from retirement, right? By that, I mean that instead of you having residuals in your business, you are relying on a 401k that you put together. You're relying on a Roth IRA that you put together. You're relying on an insurance plan that you put together. Now, those things are not wrong, of course. They're investment vehicles. However, the money from your regimens, the money from your hair money, right? Because this is the thing that most people are not looking at. The hair industry is a whole industry, right? So if you get stuck doing hair till you die and you can't figure out another way to make money in the industry without starting over, then it's because you're too focused here, right? You're too focused here. Now, let me tell you what happened to me, okay? So I was a hairstylist very much focused here, right? Because in the beginning, they tell us when you get to build a clientele, right? Build a clientele. That's what they tell us. Nowadays, see, and I've been in the hair industry for 30 years. So building a clientele was the way to make the most money in the hair industry back then. It was. You could build a clientele, and that was all you needed to do. All right. And then the thing that happens is your clientele starts to become entitled, first and foremost. Sorry about that. First and foremost, the clientele starts to become entitled, right? So now I am working with these clients. I'm giving them all of my time, right? The problem with this is that you only make money when you do hair, right? And a lot of stylists make the mistake of putting money behind only when you do hair. And I'll describe what that means. Something like, let's say that you have a new product out, right? Instead of you selling that product on a major scale, you know what you're doing? You're styling hair and then you're offering a product to your client. Or you're only concerned with whether your clients actually use the product. So let's say if your product is a $20 bottle, right? You're giving this $20 bottle so much limited access because it has to go through your clientele first before you ever hit here, right? So some people are turning their hair money into cheer money, right? Now, cheer money is the money you have to do hair. You have to do hair if you want cheer money. But if you want hair money, which is money out of the hair industry, right? Then that looks very different. So let's talk about what you're probably tired of if you are ready to retire and you don't see a way out of the hair industry other than, I don't know why I ate cheese earlier because it's going to have me coughing. But other than you want to make money other than doing hair. That's what we need to do, okay? So when we talk about retirement, the first thing most people do is think that they're going to get Social Security, right? And don't get me wrong, that's not wrong. That's the way that most people do it. However, the other part of my book says how not to get suckered out of your hair legacy and make it pay you after the chair. So that's what this book is really about, how not to get suckered out of your hair legacy. And you might not understand exactly what that means. I mean that if you stood 30 years like me doing hair and you never created your own product, you got suckered out of your hair legacy. Okay? If you wanted to retire and you couldn't because how am I going to make money when I stop doing hair, then you got suckered out of your hair legacy. Um, and this is a sad thing to happen. And you know why? Because hairstylists are like one of the most valuable it's one of the most valuable jobs in the world. The problem is that a lot of the people who are hairstylists don't think like business owners, right? If you're thinking like an employee, you're going to seek out employee type revenue or money when it's time for you to retire. Okay, you're going to seek that out. This is how you're going to know. And the worst place to find out if you're thinking like an employee in the hair business is at the end. Okay, that's the worst time to find out that you've been thinking like an employee, because it means that you had a bunch of stuff that you just left on the table. It means that you said no a bunch of times. Because one thing stylists cannot deny is that when you become seasoned, people start asking. So let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about it. So if you are a seasoned stylist or a former stylist who wanted to retire and couldn't, right? So this might be you if you are a seasoned stylist who wanted to retire and couldn't after you did all the work. You are still tied to, I have to go in if I want to make some money, right? That is the major tragedy that's happening now in the hair industry, is that the hairstylists have to do something else when it comes time to end the career.